All right, we'll start with an opening statement from Coach. You want to go ahead?
Well, I'm proud of our guys. I'm really proud of them. As a coach, you want your guys to be a reflection of what they do every day. And, in some ways we have been a reflection of what we've been doing every day. And, we weren't playing hard. We weren't playing tough enough. And the bottom line is we lost confidence in what we did well for a long part of the season. And, I thought, maybe it was the luck of the draw that we weren't able to play a game this weekend, but it gave us some extra time to address some things, work on some things. And I thought that showed tonight. I thought we played hard. We had a lot of guys contribute from a defensive standpoint. We gave great effort. And, offensively, we continue to take care of the ball. That's the only thing I'm really stressing. And I thought tonight we moved the ball really well against the zone. They played zone 90% of the time, and we were able to, at the end of the day, crack the game with some really good open shots and passing. So more importantly than the win, which we're excited about, I'm just excited that our team was able to see the benefits of getting back and having a great attitude and working hard in practice and doing some things that we're going to need to do moving forward.
Alex Bozich.
Archie, you've had games this season previous to this where you guys have kind of been in the same position down the stretch. Last 4 or 5 minutes, you didn't make plays to win. Is there anything you can point to specifically that was different about this game that kind of allowed you guys to get over the hump, so to speak?
I thought there was some key offensive possessions where the ball moved and ran them out of guys in their matchup or the zone that they were playing. And at the end of the day, we didn't come up empty. Rob hit a big one. Al stuck a big one. We were able to get some pick and roll games. Jordan got a big one, but we kept scoring, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So many times when you get into a tough game, especially on the road, it's 50-50. You're going to need to make some plays offensively. And, tonight, we opened up the lid and we were able to make some plays offensively. I think the second thing is, from a free throw perspective, it was very disappointing for 36 minutes, but Al Durham went in there at the end of the game and, he made sure it didn't get a little bit crazier than it could have been. We made some free throws to finish the game and we got some key stops, but I'm proud of our guys. I thought our guys made plays.
Zach Osterman.
Sorry, struggling with the mute button there, Archie. I guess just you talked about it a little bit there in your opening statement, but what did this week do for you? In terms of, I imagine it wasn't, sort of a massive sort of change of routine or different things like that day to day in practice. But just what did maybe a week, not just from a physical perspective, but a mental perspective do for your team?
Well, I think, number one, it's tough in this league to be able to bounce back. In particular, the way we played the other night defensively, I think it just became apparent that if we don't kind of draw a line in the sand for ourselves and start to accept a little bit better from certain guys, not in the game, but what we're doing every day, we're not going to be able to get to where we want to get to. And I think addressing, being accountable in practice and getting back to some fundamental things that you don't have the ability to do sometimes in the conference, and just that competitive nature in practice when you're not worried about guys being tired or worrying about we got a game in 48 hours. Sometimes guys are resilient. You can't do it all the time, but I think sometimes guys need that lack of worrying about if they're tired, if their legs are sore, if at the end of the day they played 36 minutes and they're a little banged up. At some point you've got to be able to do what you want to do in the game every day. If you don't, you're going to have slippage, and we had a lot of slippage through the early part of January. And I think, this period of time sort of was draw the line in the sand for ourselves, not so much about how we're playing in games, but how we're working right now. And, we had to challenge some guys challenged each other, but the practices needed to get back to being a team that's competing and playing. And you can't do it all the time, like I said, but from a fundamental defensive standpoint and from a system standpoint, just being accountable, doing your job, being where you're supposed to be. And we were better tonight. I thought early in the game, we were soft in and around the rim again, but we were able to kind of keep it at a working margin. I thought in the second half, we were much tougher in our first time defense. We didn't rebound it as well, but I thought Jordan Geronimo, best game he's played as an Indiana player. His contribution tonight was awesome, in terms of how he brought energy, how physical he was. He was guarding Luka Garza. He did just as good a job as anybody else on the team. And I think it just goes to show that when your attitude is right, you're preparing the right way, you you won't get in the game and worry a whole lot. You'll just do what you do.
Greg.
Archie, that was kind of my question. A little bit it was about Jordan, Geronimo, but also Race Thompson and how you guys were helping off on Garza. Basically, just how you guys stifled Garza with Trace and Race foul trouble a lot.
Yeah, it was tough. I think early on, we let him get it where he wanted to get it. And, it's hard to help when a guy catches it so close or he catches it right where he wants to catch it. And I think as the game wore on, we started to do a better job. And I thought the quickness level of Jordan, the quickness level of our perimeter people being able to kind of swarm the ball when he turned his back was sort of a big deal. And I also think we didn't get out of the way around the rim. I mean, guys were walling up. They were putting they weren't fouling. And he's hard to deal with. He really is. But I thought the energy level and the quickness level of our team in the second half really rose when we subbed. We stopped standing around a little bit and conceding, and we started to play a little bit quicker and a little bit tougher in and around the ball. And then once he's a little further out, maybe we can give him a little bit more help. But it wasn't perfect. He still got his 28 and 12, but hopefully he had to earn them.
Kevin.
Yeah, Coach, the 3-point line tonight as well. Obviously, Iowa had some injuries for Frederick and so
We
forth.
had Trey Galloway out tonight too. He was hurt.
Yeah,
Did you see
exactly.
that?
So, but the job that you guys did on the 3-point line tonight after
Some of the shots that they took, they normally make. Sometimes you have those type of games. I'd like to think that we did a pretty good job on the ball, though. I think that Rob, I thought that Armand in the second half in particular, and I think Al Durham, I think those three guys were terrific defensively in terms of being on the catch, right, ready, and there. And I thought Rob maybe had one of the best defensive performances of his college career, to be honest with you, for the amount of minutes that he played. I thought he was unbelievable on the ball. And I thought, at halftime, you looked at the statistics and you see Wieskamp and you see, Garza with 30 points at half. And it's kind of like, we have to get one of these two guys under control. And I thought that, Wieskamp finished with 16 is a big courtesy, I thought, to Armand stepping up in the second half and doing a really good job. But we had a team approach. When you only turn it over 8 times, that's a huge number, in terms of being on the road and not giving up easy baskets and threes. So the fact that we only turned it over 8 times, that really helps you get back, as well. And Iowa's a great transition team.
Final question for Coach Rob Johns.
Hey, Coach, there in the second half,
Oh
you
my
guys
God.
hold Bohannon to 0 points. I mean, obviously he didn't score for the whole game, but 0 points the second half. McCaffrey, 0 points. Wieskamp, 1 point. 3 really good players. A combined 1 point in 53 minutes in the second half. Just what do you attribute that to?
I thought our guys were locked in and they gave great effort. I think it started with Rob. I think Rob was terrific defensively. I said that. And I think we've shown all season long that we can, when we're locked in and zoned in, that we can defend. And we defended the ball. We did a much better job defending their motion than we did a week ago against Purdue. We were so spread out against Purdue. And, at the end of the day, we left each other on islands. I thought we had much more help tonight. We had a much better approach in terms of getting through screens and doing some things. But, I think this defensive performance by Fennessy spearheaded our team. It kind of got, a really good player in Bohannon, maybe not as comfortable as he normally was. And I thought Armand has shown all year he can step up and do the same thing. I think those two guys, when they're locked in on that end and doing as good of a job as they're doing, I think they're two of the best defenders in our league.
All right. Thank
And
you,
I
Coach.
also think Al Durham, give him credit. I thought he did a really good job as well. For the minutes he played, did a really good job of chasing cutters and being there as well. All 3 perimeter guys really covered.